Okay, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about that feeling. You know the one, that constant pull between getting ready to do something and, well, actually doing it. It's a struggle I think every single one of us knows.
And isn't this just the truth? We all want the cheat sheet, right? We want the answers, the guarantee that it's all going to work out before we even step into the ring. It's this really deep-seated human desire to know the outcome before we take any kind of risk.
But that's the thing. Life just doesn't work that way. It doesn't hand you a neatly packaged study guide. Nope. It gives you the test first, and the real lesson, the stuff that actually sticks, comes from the experience of taking it.
So, this leads us to something we can call the perfection trap. This is that quicksand of endless preparation that actually keeps us from ever getting started. Let's really dig into what this looks and feels like.
Just think about it for a second. Is there a project, maybe a business idea, something creative, a goal you have that you've just kind of put on the back burner? Something you're really passionate about, but for some reason you just can't seem to hit go? And this is probably going to sound familiar, right? You've done the homework. You've read all the books. You've watched every single webinar on the topic. Heck, you've prepared so much you could probably teach a class on the theory of it all. You've checked every single box under preparation. And yet, despite all that knowledge, there's that little voice, isn't there? That nagging feeling that whispers, not yet. You're not quite ready. It's this sense of being unprepared that, ironically, more preparation never seems to fix.
This really just hits the nail on the head. That perfect moment we're all waiting for, it's a myth. It's an illusion that keeps us stuck right where we are. And if we wait for it, well, we risk waiting forever. So the real question is, why do we do this to ourselves?
Well, it turns out this isn't some personal flaw or a lack of courage on your part. There's actually a deep biological reason we hesitate like this. And to break free, we've got to understand the why behind the wait.
And honestly, this should be a huge relief. It's not a character flaw. It's just your brain doing exactly what it evolved to do, protect you. The unknown, the risk of failure, the fear of judgment, your brain sees all of that as a genuine threat. Think of this as a translation guide. So when your mind says, there's still more to learn, what it's really whispering is, hey, stay here where it's safe. When it says, I just need a little more time, the subtext is really, don't risk the sting of failure. And oh man, this last one is the most dangerous of all. I need to be 100% sure first. That's often just your brain's final, desperate attempt to stop you from going after your dreams. So isn't that ironic? The very mechanism inside your head that's designed to protect you ends up becoming your own personal cage? That comfort zone, that place of safety, becomes the one thing standing between you and what you really want. Okay, so if the problem is our brain's built-in safety mode, what's the solution? How do we override that ancient programming? Well, the answer is pretty simple, but it's definitely not easy. It's all about embracing a totally different kind of teacher.
This right here is the fundamental shift in mindset. It's a leap of faith, really. You don't need all the answers before you begin. You just have to begin, and then trust that the process itself, the doing, the trying, even the failing, will teach you exactly what you need to know, right when you need to know it.
Seriously, think about anyone who's ever created something amazing. They almost never start with a perfect, detailed step-by-step plan. Like the person who inspired this idea, they usually just have a direction, a gut feeling, and a willingness to learn as they go. They start without seeing the whole picture.
So what does this actually look like in practice? It's a loop. First, you start something, knowing it's going to be messy and imperfect. Second, you inevitably learn a lesson that no book or webinar could ever really teach you. And third, you take that hard-won lesson and you apply it to your very next attempt. You just repeat that cycle.
And this idea, it reframes everything. Suddenly, failure isn't the end of the road, it's more like tuition. It's the price you pay for wisdom you can't get any other way. Those projects that don't quite work out, they're not losses. They're the most valuable parts of your education. So this all brings it right back to you. We've talked about the trap, we understand the psychology, and we know the antidote. Now it's about taking that first, messy, probably a little scary, and totally imperfect step forward.
And this is the ultimate takeaway. Look, it's not going to be easy. Learning from experience can be humbling and frustrating for sure. But the lessons it teaches you, they become a permanent part of who you are in a way that just reading about something never ever can. It is, without a doubt, the best teacher you will ever have.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Think back on your own life. When was a time you learned something truly profound? Not from a book, but from just doing it. Remind yourself of that power.
because that is the exact same power you can tap into for whatever it is you want to start next.